Charlie Langston's with us now. She is with the Daily Mail. Charlie, not unexpected. How is everything being received in Britain? He's been a staple for generations.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the general feeling in Britain is one of incredible sadness. Everyone feels a huge amount of sympathy towards the Queen and the other members of the royal family. And irregardless of what you felt about Prince Philip as a person, you know, he's had his fair share of controversies. He was a very well-loved character, and he was known for his cheeky attitude, for telling jokes, and for being such a wonderful source of support to the Queen. And for her to lose that after more than 7 decades, it's incredibly sorrowful, and I think that's really the only emotion that anyone is feeling right now.
Charlie, how do you think the community or the country will react to this? Will businesses close down? I know a lot of people will probably go to the castle and be putting flowers down.
Yes, I think we can expect to see a huge presence outside of all of the royal residences, particularly Buckingham Palace. You know, a lot of businesses will fly their flags at half-mast. We will also likely see people leaving work. You know, I think what's very difficult to necessarily understand outside of Britain is just how impactful these major royal losses are. When Princess Diana passed away, I remember seeing people in the street openly crying about it, and I don't think that this will be any different. I think that it will really impact people in a really upsetting way, and I do think, you know, while businesses might not shut down altogether, people will certainly need to take the day in order to process exactly what's happened.
Sure. Charlie Langston is the female editor at dailymail.com. Charlie, talk a little bit, if you will, because, you know, the last major story out of the UK was the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah Winfrey that they did out in California. And there was some suggestion that while Prince Philip, who just, according to the royal family, passed away this morning at Windsor Castle, you know, whether or not they should run that while he was in the hospital. And there was quite a bit of back and forth.
Yes, absolutely. And there was a huge amount of controversy. I mean, Prince Harry particularly was facing a lot of anger in the UK over the idea that he would allow this interview to air while his grandfather was so seriously ill in hospital. Not only because it was doing a disservice to Prince Philip, but it was also putting undue stress on the Queen while she was at home worrying about her husband of more than 7 decades and whether he was going to survive. What was, you know, a very serious procedure. Any heart procedure is always serious, and that's what Prince Philip went through. Now, I think it was probably out of Prince Harry and Meghan's hands at that point, whether or not they would have been able to stop the interview. We do understand that had Prince Philip passed away prior to the interview's air date, they likely would have delayed it. However, Prince Philip was said to have been incredibly angry and upset over the things that were said during that primetime sit-down with Oprah. You know, sources have told Daily Mail that he was incredibly defensive of his family, that he felt very betrayed by Harry. So that was not the best thing for him to have to deal with during what ended up being the final weeks of his life.
Right. And, you know, Charlie, what you're alluding to is the fact that Harry and Meghan suggested that the royal family was racist by some of the things that they had said to Harry. And Harry would not name which member of the royal family, and some had suggested, well, maybe it was Prince Philip. And then the next day here on American television, it was clarified that Prince Harry said it was not the Queen, it was not Prince Philip.
Yes, he told Oprah specifically, you know, I will not name the person who said these remarks, but I will confirm it was not my grandmother or my grandfather. That was incredibly important because, you know, the Queen is the monarch. She is the head of the royal family. And to suggest that either her or her consort, Prince Philip, had made those remarks would have been even more damaging than it has been with us not knowing who it was who said those things.
Yeah. Wow. So when you look at the royal family right now, they've had ups and downs. What about during the Princess Diana times, his role there? Because wasn't he the one behind that marriage, kind of maybe pushing for that marriage? And then when it hit the skids, what was his role?
Well, Prince Philip has always been someone who puts duty first and foremost above everything. You know, we've talked so much about what a wonderful job